Hello. So today I want to talk to you about intention setting and also the power of the menstrual cycle in that intention setting process, and also just helping us to work towards our intentions. So this whole topic came about because I have been going through a lot with just life lately, a lot of like psychological stuff, a lot of just rethinking and relearning and unlearning has been happening for me. And I've been having so much just insight and in, information coming through around like death and rebirth and transformation and moving towards things and being able to kind of like let go of things from the past, let go of the ways I thought things were going to be, the way I thought things should be, or what I should be doing, or what should be happening in life, and really be able to like move towards the path that I chose for myself and the path that I envisioned for myself with greater ease. Because honestly, things have been a little bit challenging lately. It's been a challenging time, and I've had a lot of insights come through around how astrology can help support in these times, and also how to work with different practices that can be supportive. So that's what I want to share with you today. Today I had a IG live and I recorded it and everything, and then I decided to record something that's a little bit more organized, and because I wanted to include some of the herbs that I really love. And so this idea around working with intentions and setting intentions is something that's like really powerful. It's, of course, can transform your life and can help you move towards things that you didn't know that were possible for you. It's definitely done that for me. And one of the things that has been coming up for me around intention setting lately is around asking for things that are aligned with my journey, and how to know what is aligned with my journey, but then also how to move towards intentions in a way that doesn't cause so much stress. Because honestly, when you're moving towards an intention, it can be stressful because you're having to let go of, at least I've been having to let go of things that I thought to be true, things that I thought that I should be doing, things that I thought would make it possible for this intention to come to life and to be brought into reality. And so much of that is not true, because a lot of times with this intention setting, it's like I've been setting this intention, or working towards something, and I'm coming at it from this perspective of like, I'm gonna have to do everything, and yeah, maybe there will be some things that like come in and influence my life, but I'm pretty much gonna have to like work hard, or like do these things, or um, like do things in a certain way in order for in order for this intention to be realized. And that's not the truth. And I've known that in the past. Like, I've known it in the sense of, oh yeah, like I'm supported by ancestors, I'm supported by nature, I'm supported by all these other things that are unseen. But when you actually put it into practice, it's kind of like, at least for me, it has been challenging sometimes, because I'm not remembering the fact that it's not just me asking for this different way of life or this thing to happen in life. It's also me and all the celestial bodies that I'm connected to the ancestors I'm connected to, the plants that I'm connected to, are all working together with me. And that's why I talk so much about ritual and ceremony and these kinds of practices that are connected to nature and are connected to plants and connected to celestial bodies. And then when it comes down to the actual work, and I'm like, okay, I'm sitting at my computer, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to see happen, so let me do it this way. And that's where I start to run into a little bit of a challenge, because that's not the way it works a lot of times. And what I've been seeing for myself is that I've been having so much difficulty with sitting down to do certain tasks, and I've been getting this feeling like, okay, I would rather just like go paint right now. I'd rather go for a walk right now. Can I just get up and go to the beach right now? And then I'm like, no, I have to do this thing. I have to do this work. I have to like write this thing. I have to write this email. And then afterwards, I just feel so drained and not really feeling like I've accomplished what I've wanted to accomplish, or like getting that thing done isn't bringing me the level of like feeling of accomplishment that I thought I would have, because I'm like, oh, I did this big thing, but where did it actually get me? And I've learned in the past, for years, I've been learning this lesson around trusting that that my body knows best. And this is where the menstrual cycle comes into play with some of this, because a lot of times if I push myself to do the things that are not actually aligned with what I'm moving towards, then it shows up in my body and I start to have pain in my body, or I start to have just all kinds of imbalances showing up, tightness in the lower back, tightness in my neck and shoulders, all of these things that are happening that are a result of doing this thing in a way that is not actually aligned with my path of getting there, because we all have a path to our intentions that does not look the same as someone else's path. And so being able to see that and recognize that, and being able to say, okay, I know that my body is telling me something when I'm sitting here to do this thing and it's hurting. Don't do that. Go and do the thing that you're being called to. Go and do the thing that's going to help you release that tension, and go and do the thing that's going to actually tap you into your power and to the power that you have to create. That comes from something that's probably a lot different from what we've been taught, as far as realizing goals and intentions and things like that. So one of the things that kind of like has come up for me around this idea of manifestation is that you just put it out there and it's going to come. And I do believe in that. I do believe that you can put it out there and it's going to come. But when you put it out there, it's also going to ask you to change yourself in ways that will help you to be in alignment with that thing that you're wanting. And a lot of times that means letting go of learned ways of doing things and learned ways of moving through the world. And so one of the things that I found to be really helpful, and I'm going to go through some of these things right now, is like working with herbs and working with different like ritual practices to help come out of this very like linear and very structured way of doing things. Not that linear and structure are bad, because they're really great and they're really beneficial, and there's definitely time and place for them, but sometimes it's not the only way. That's not the only way. And it's definitely not the only way when we're talking about bringing things into reality that were not there before. Because this is something that we have the power to do, especially as menstruating people, because we create. It's just in our nature to create things and to create lives and to create aspects of our lives that we want to grow and develop. So one of the practices that I love is working with spiritual baths. And spiritual baths are baths where you basically prepare this big pot of tea, and then you strain it off. You put your intentions in, and of course you pick herbs based on the energetics that you're working with for your intention, or maybe you're feeling blocked in an aspect of something that you're working towards, or maybe you're just feeling blocked and you've forgotten, like, oh yeah, I set that intention and this is trying to get me there, but you're not seeing that connection in the moment, because that that definitely happens to me. And so the spiritual bath helps with getting that clarity, kind of relieving some of that tension, being able to surrender to the process. So you make this big batch of herbs, like a big herbal tea, you strain it off, let it get to room temperature, you take a shower, and then you pour that spirit bath over you from head to toe and let it dry on your body. Let it air dry on your body. And so now you have this energy of these plants on you and with you and in your energy field. And it helps to clear the mind. It helps to kind of clear up these these knots in our energy body, these knots that come up, and it's like these tangles of like, oh, this is the way I thought I had to do it. This is the way I thought it should be. This is what I thought I should be doing. I'm not doing enough, or I'm not, or I'm doing too much, or whatever it is. And the spirit bath can help to just wash that away. And it feels so good and it helps to give clarity. And I would do that 3 nights in a row, because that just amplifies the energy that you're working with, amplifies the intention, it amplifies the clearing practice, and it's really powerful for being able to make space in your energetic body to move towards what it is that you are wanting. So spirit baths, and then also working with movement, dance. So a lot of times, like I mentioned, things will show up in the body before they come to mind as like something that's clear, because our mind is our mind can really just mess with us sometimes, and can really just cause some trouble because of thinking too much and thinking about the way things should be, and thinking how things should look. And it doesn't always look that way, and it's not always supposed to be that way, and so our mind can kind of just like get in the way of things. So just attuning yourself to your physical body, attuning yourself to the movement of your physical body allows you to have a better connection with your body and be able to recognize, like, if, for example, I'm sitting down trying to like work on my computer and my body is hurting, I'm like, okay, my body's telling me something. I'm just going to get up and go for a walk. I'm going to go up and go for a bike ride or whatever it is. And a lot of times that will give me the freshness and perspective that I need in order to keep going and whatever it is that I'm doing. Or maybe it even, a lot of times lately, has been like, actually, why are you doing this? Is this actually getting you to where you want to go? And, or is it busy work to do what you think you should be doing in order to get to where you want to go? A lot of times it's just busy work to do what I think I should be doing to get to where I want to go, when there are other more important things that I could be doing that don't always line up with like sitting at my computer and doing some work on my computer. It's more things that are creative, more about like the creation of new things. And that's where my energy is most aligned. I'm a creative. I'm like very much in that creative flow. I have so many ideas about like workshops and all these things, and then I get bogged down with like emails, which is not the best use of my energy. It's just really not. So yeah, stepping out of that and reconnecting to the body is a really great way to start to bring back that body awareness and retune into the wisdom of the body. Because our physical body is connected to these celestial bodies that we're also connected to. Our physical body is connected to nature, it's connected to the earth, it's connected to all the energies that are around us, and will show us when things are out of harmony, and will show us when we are doing things that are out of alignment with something that an intention that we've set, especially if we're working with planets, especially if we're working with the moon or plants, like plant medicines, when we're setting intentions. Like a lot of times I will often work with like a dream work oil, and I'll work with the moon, or I'll work with like Mercury, the sun, Venus, Jupiter, or Saturn, Mars, depending on what intention I'm setting. I'll work with different planets. And so when we're moving towards that intention and those energetic bodies are helping us move towards that, it's not always going to be in a way that's logical to us. And so it really helps to tune into our bodies, because our bodies are connected to those energies and those energetic forces of the planets and plants. And our bodies remember and have that deep connection. So being really tuned into the body and what the body needs and what the body's asking for, the physical body can be really helpful in moving towards that intention in a way that is not difficult, that's not so much friction, and is a little bit easier on us. So dance, any kind of like ritual dance practice, like doing 3 nights of ritual dance, taking a spirit bath, and then doing some dream work after. So that's the next one. Dream work is really powerful for helping us see what we can't see in the daytime, especially when we've been trained to think in a certain way. And we have this big vision and this intention for ourselves and for our lives. And then the way we go about thinking of like, okay, how can we help ourselves in bringing this to reality? That way of thinking has to shift too. And a lot of times it's not something that we can see so easily in the daytime, in the light. And this is where it's so important to have a good balance of light and dark, spending time in the sun, spending time in the moon. When it gets dark in the evening, not having bright lights on. We need darkness. We need that subtlety. We need those dark spaces to see the parts of ourselves that are asking to be pulled out into the light. And Also because also the sun is kind of more of like a harder energy, as far as like the sun is like getting work done. It's like going out, doing things, but then the darkness is where things happen that we don't have to put our energy into. We don't have to actually physically go out and do. So tapping into that darkness through dream work and getting clarity on our path and the intentions that we've set through dream work is really, really powerful. And dream work is basically a practice of, one, writing down your dreams in the morning, keeping a dream journal. Dream work starts with your dream journal. It starts with an intention to dream, and it just starts with also writing anything down when you wake up in the morning and really making it a practice. Dream work is also very much about, well, there's so many aspects of dream work. I feel like that's a whole other course. So I'll just keep it short with this and say that dream work is work in itself, and that we are actually doing things in our dreams, and we're actually making progress in our lives through our dreams. So when we're sleeping, our body is healing, and we're also giving ourselves time to process the information that we weren't able to process in the daytime, because not everything is meant to be processed through the light of the sun. Some things are meant to be processed through the darkness of night. And so dream work is a way of receiving insights from our dream world. So any symbols that show up, all of those things can play a role in like how we move towards our intentions and our goals in waking life also. So the symbolism that shows up in your dreams, the scenes, the insights, the feelings, the colors, the textures, the atmosphere of our dreams, when we start to see some of that showing up in our day-to-day life, maybe through symbolism or something like that, we're getting clues that we are on the right path. We're getting clues that we are being guided towards something, and that can be really helpful when we feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. At least that's the way I felt sometimes, and a lot lately, actually. I've been like, what am I doing? What am I actually doing? Like, is this actually worth my time and my energy? Am I doing what I came here to do? Am I doing am I doing the things that will bring me the life experiences that I wanted to experience when I came into this life? I don't know. And so dreams help me to get clarity on that. And when I see the symbolism of my dreams showing up in my day-to-day life, I know that I'm on the right path, and I know that there's a lesson there to explore more deeply. For example, the snakes that have been coming up in my dreams, that's been really powerful. And it's been something that's shown me like all these ways that I'm going to have to transform. And so when I feel this need to kind of like pull back from things and to do things that are a little bit different, to kind of even like not speak as much, that has been really powerful for me, and not putting as much stuff out on Instagram or things like that. It's just I'm kind of in that snake energy, the snake that is already like the eyes are cloudy. If you've ever seen a snake, I used to have a snake as a pet, and ended up giving it to someone else who really loves them. But I had a snake, and I would see when it would, go through its time of shedding, it would get like cloudy eyes, and it was just like curled up. His name was Lamont, and it was really sweet. But it's a time of like pulling back, and I noticed that I really got a lot of insight if I were to just pull back and not go out into the world and do all of these things, and really listen to the symbolism of my dreams. So dream work is really powerful for these times. And then also listening to the menstrual cycle and connecting to the wisdom of the menstrual cycle. So when our menstrual cycle is out of balance, we are getting clues as to kind of things that we're doing that could be out of integrity with the dreams and the intentions that we've set for ourselves. So paying attention to the things that come up premenstrually, any cravings, any desires for things, any feelings that come up, anything that's coming up cyclically in that premenstrual phase, in the couple days before your cycle starts, that will give you so much information. That right there is a huge, like, it's kind of like a treasure, and it may not feel like a treasure. I know it does not feel like a treasure a lot of times, but there's actually so much there to learn from, and so much that we can tune into to start to make shifts and changes. For example, I used to love to have chocolate right before my period would start, and I started to examine that, and I was like, okay, well, this is something that I always have before my cycle starts, and I always have cycles that I used to have cycles all the time that were painful. And so I was like, okay, let me take this thing out because I always do this, and um, I don't remember a cycle when I haven't had chocolate beforehand, so let me just take it out and see what happens. So I took it out and it improved my cycle. And so I just started to look at what my body could be asking me for through that chocolate. Obviously, one was sugar, and so eliminating sugar and just really being mindful of sugar intake before my cycle starts, that was really helpful. But then also looking at the energetics of it, of that sweetness, and asking for sweetness and wanting this sweetness, and looking at how I was treating myself and how I needed a lot more sweetness. I needed to be a lot more gentle and compassionate and sweet towards myself. And so infusing a lot more sweetness into my daily life really helped with my cycles. And now I can eat chocolate and it doesn't really impact me the way it used to with my menstrual cycles, but I do break out. So I still don't eat chocolate. But I learned a lot from that experience of observing this thing that was cyclical, taking it out, observing what the desire was, what the pull was, both physically and energetically, and then making changes based on that. So that's a way you can work with your menstrual cycle to gain greater understanding and wisdom and knowledge about your path and about the intention that you're moving towards. So paying attention to all these areas of friction. I don't know if you guys are feeling this, if you're feeling like there's just a lot coming up, and I don't know, I've been feeling a lot of energy of transformation. I've been having a lot of dreams about death. I've been having a lot of dreams about things ending. I've been having just all kinds of interesting dreams about death and transformation. And so going through my day-to-day life lately has been kind of intense. I'm not gonna lie, I think this Uranus in my 8th house, with this psychological stuff that's coming up, and just learning to look at what I've learned about how to create a life that I want, and like these ideas around what should be happening at a certain time in my life, especially after a birthday. And then ideas of like what I thought my work would look like, and what I thought different aspects of my life would look like, and how that way of thinking is actually causing a lot of like psychological friction and disharmony and imbalance, because there's so many ways that we can come into our lives, and so many ways that we can experience life and go through life that are not going to be aligned with what we learned about what things should be from the past. So yeah, that's what I've been going through. And so hopefully some of this is helpful for you. It's been helpful for me. I did an herbal bath the other night, and I've been trying to incorporate ritual. I'm doing a dream work ritual for 9 nights, working with African dream root and a couple of other herbs that I love. I started it off with an herbal bath, and I'm doing some sound healing practices before I go to bed, and taking my dream work tincture, and then just paying attention to my dream for the next 9 nights. So I'm on day 2 right now. So I'll let you know how it goes, and hopefully this is helpful for you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.